Let's review the story of Jesus raises the widow's son from Luke chapter 7. Now, Jesus was carrying out his ministry with his disciples. And then, do you remember the name of the city they were heading to? And this is called the widow's son, but sometimes it's called the young man of the city. It was the young man of Nain. And they were heading there. And as they were going, do you remember what came at them? It was a funeral procession. Of course, not with cars, but it was a whole bunch of people, and it was a mom, and it was a couple people carrying a coffin, where the young man was in it, and it was a sad situation because death is always sad. God never designed this world for that, but it's especially sad in situations where people are really left alone. And his mom was there. Always sad when you lose a child. You never plan that. You maybe think, my grandparents will die, my parents will die before me, but a mom never plans to lose her son. But do you remember what she was called? What she was? It starts with a W. She was a widow. And that meant her husband had already died, and the Bible tells us this was the only son she had. So she was going to be really alone, and in that time it would be really tough on her. But do you remember what Jesus said to her? Kind of surprising. Something we normally don't tell people at funerals. He said what? He said, don't cry. That wasn't a joke, but he was going to fix it. So he went right up and he said, young man, I say to you, get up. And what did the young man do? By the power of Jesus' words, he sat up. He was alive. What Jesus would do on the cross and rising from the dead had power right now by Jesus' words. And he would eventually die again, but he would be resurrected on the last day as well. And then Jesus took that young man. You remember what he did with him? He gave him back to his mom. Handed him. I'm not sure how we picture this, but I just imagine this big hug. Having your son dead and now alive. What was the response that everybody had? Do you remember what they said? Everybody, the disciples and the mom and the young man of name, what did they all say? They said this: a great prophet has appeared among us. God has come to help his people. They knew that Jesus was God's messenger, had God's power. Maybe they didn't all get he was the Messiah yet. But it started there, and then what happened to this message? What did it do? It spread all over the land. And maybe it got the Pharisees and Sadducees mad, but others knew the Messiah had come, and it got people ready to hear the message of what Jesus wanted to tell them. Thank you for reviewing with me the story of Jesus raises the widow's son.